Beauty and the Beast. Cheep and the Little Cheep. It was a busy day at the castle. All the enchanted objects were hard at work, and Cheep wanted to help. In the kitchen, Mrs. Potts was putting whipped cream on a cake. "Let me help, Mamma," said Cheep. But when he tried to stir the whipped cream, it splashed all over. "Oh, dear Cheep," Miss Potts sighed as she wiped his face. "You're too little to help with the baking. Run along and find someone else to help." Cheep walked into the hallway. Cogsworth was standing on a ladder, dusting a suit of armor. "Let me help," Cheep said. He found a dust cloth and climbed up the ladder next to Cogsworth. But he rubbed the armor so hard that it began to shake. Then it began to tilt, and then the armor fell with a crash, knocking the ladder over. Down went Cogsworth, and Cheep too. The armor's helmet landed on top of Cheep. He was very lucky he didn't get hurt. "Dear, dear," Cogsworth said as he lifted the helmet off Cheep. "You're too little for this job, Cheep. Run along and find someone else to help." So Cheep ran down the hall into the dining room. Lumiere was lighting candles on the dining table. "May I help?" Cheep asked, but as he hopped across the table, he knocked over the water pitcher. Water splashed everywhere, putting out the candles. My," Lumiere said, shaking himself dry. "Run along, Cheep. You can't help me here." Cheep started to walk past the library. He saw Belle carrying a big stack of books. Surely Belle would let him help her. But as he rushed into the library, he tripped on the rug and went flying through the air. "Cheep, watch out!" Belle cried. She dropped the books and caught him in her hands. "Oh my, you gave me quite a scare," Belle said. Books were scattered everywhere. "I'm sorry, I wanted to help, but I just made you drop the books," Cheep said sadly. "Don't worry," Belle answered. "I can pick the books up. Anyway, they're too heavy for you to lift. Run along. I'm sure you'll find someone else to help." But Cheep didn't think so. He walked into the garden. "Maybe I really am too little to help anyone," he thought. Just then he heard a small peeping noise. A tiny bird was lying on the ground, crying. "What's the matter?" Cheep asked. The bird opened and closed its beak. "Maybe you're thirsty," Cheep said. He hurried away and brought back some water. The little bird drank it all, but started to cry again. "I know. You're probably hungry," Cheep said. He looked around and found some seeds for the bird. The little bird ate all the seeds, but then he started to cry again. "You look cold," Cheep said. I'll make you a warm nest of leaves. Cheep started to pile leaves around the bird. But when he touched its wing, the little bird cried even louder. Cheep looked at the bird more carefully. "Oh, I see what's wrong. Your wing is hurt." Cheep said, "I'll go to get Belle. She can help you." But when Cheep started to leave, the little bird began to cry louder than ever. "I guess you don't want me to leave you alone," Cheep said. "Don't worry, I won't leave you. I'll carry you to the castle." Cheep carefully scooped the bird up. "Phew! You're bigger than I thought," Cheep gasped as she carried the bird into the castle. Puffing and panting, Cheep hurried past Cogsworth in the hall, past Lumiere in the dining room, and past Mrs. Potts in the kitchen. When they saw Cheep with the bird, all the enchanted objects followed him into the library. Belle knew just what to do. She bandaged the little bird's wing. Then she made it a soft nest in a corner of the library. Cheep looked at the little bird. "I wish I could help him get well," he said quietly. "Why, Cheep, you already did," Belle said. "You gave him water and food and carried him inside. You were the biggest help of all." "Cheep, Cheep," the little bird called to Cheep. "Listen," Cheep said. "I think he knows I helped him." Cheep was proud of himself. He stroked the little bird's feathers and said, "I'm going to take care of him until he's well. I'll name him Little Cheep. Cheep and Little Cheep will be best friends." The end.